A word for our listeners. Achtung Cthulhu is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerd's Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Phil Durham, Rob Walker, Justin Kimmett, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as the keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. My name is Matt, and we are... This is the third episode of the fantastic side quest that I have called Murder in Hooverville. Good night. We haven't even made it to Hooverville yet. All right, and just real quick, I want to remind you guys, we have other podcasts. Check those out over at nerdsdom.com. 3 other podcasts you can check out there, with new podcasts potentially coming soon. But today, we're going to do the side quest. We're joined by Johnny Brown.
Hey.
Xavier, Professor Xavier, Quiz Professor Xavier.
Hello. Just messing up the boy's name.
Maudlin.
Still messing up.
If you live in Indianapolis and you need a good real estate agent, Ed might know somebody.
Yes, his name's Ed Maudlin.
And Shirley is, of course, always with us because she likes to be here all the time.
Hello.
And we are in the middle of a side quest. You guys are currently in the Harlem Cafe. I don't know. We never really named it.
That we didn't name your cafe, man.
I know. I didn't name my
What's
cafe.
wrong with the Harlem Cafe?
Right.
No, well, there we go. Harlem Cafe. I'm going to write that down because I'll forget.
Right.
Yeah,
Harlem
you
Cafe.
Maybe spell it with 2 A's like the old Dutch.
There's an umlaut over the E.
Yeah. Right.
Harlem.
Like, you trying to be fancy. You trying to cater to them white folks. Like, I ain't hear it now. Like,
I just like that.
No.
right. Like,
no,
nah,
you're Dutch.
Nah, I just wanted to try something different with the spelling.
You come from a long line of Dutch bells.
The only chocolate bell. All right, fair enough. I'll take it.
Chocolate bells.
Chocolate bells. Sorry.
I know. Now I was like, damn it, I want ice cream. I want cake. I want it all. I want to be like Veruca. Just give it to me. I want it all.
Do you like gummy bears and chocolate-covered raisins?
I'm sorry. Wait, what?
I have them upstairs.
I heard gummy bears, raisins, and then that's what she said. What? I'm sorry.
I'm like Veruca. Give it to me all. That's what she said.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. It's not my fault. This is Michael Scott's fault.
That's true.
Yeah.
I should have named all my NPCs after the Office characters.
You really should have.
Yeah, you probably would have remembered
I should have
the
been
names of
Detective
that
Dwight Schrute.
Yeah. No, you're not dickish enough.
No, I'm playing I'm also not casually racist, but I'm playing a character.
That's true. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So you guys are in the Harlem Cafe, as we've said, and you're...
No, we've actually decided to part ways.
Yeah,
and we're gonna go to.
It was
Hooverville
it was the
day.
next day, and we were gonna go to the Hoover lots or the Cool lots or wherever the hell these people are.
The Hooverville in Central Park.
The Hooverville.
Culottes are pants.
Which is currently a lake.
Oh.
Yeah, the Hoover Lake, the Hooverville in Central Park they were in the process of building the lake, and then the money dried up. Did like the pun? Dried up on the lake.
That was funny.
So that's what the Hooverville
This is just
sprung.
the kind of comedy that you listen to the podcast for.
No.
If my listeners don't know about my bad puns by now, they're never going to learn. I'm not the pun master. The pun master is usually here and is much worse.
I cannot wait for the edited version of this. It's going to be amazing.
I edit some of this, but not as much as you would think.
This is so contextual. I don't understand what there was a pun there. I feel it, but
yeah. So, you guys meet the next day.
Okay.
you meet for breakfast, which was part of kind of you're gonna pay for breakfast for this guy so that he'll go with you, and then you'll probably give him some extra cash at the end.
$2.
Yeah. So you guys meet at a cafe or at a diner much closer to Central Park and the area
Upper
where the
West
Uber is.
Side, Upper East Side.
Yeah. So you eat breakfast. The guy is polite. He honestly seems just like a guy that's down on his luck. You get a sense that he's very proud, and that's probably why he's not living with his brother-in-law.
Sure.
But he, if a tour guide is what you need, which essentially he understands what he's doing. If a tour guide is what you need, then he's here to be a tour guide. That's fine with him. So, you're gonna feed him. He's good. So, so any questions for him while you guys are there?
How long you been living in Hooverville?
3 or 4 months.
See a lot of people come and go.
I mean, yeah. Usually, like when they're leaving, they let us know. I'm gonna move on and see if I can do it because I don't know. Traveling in groups seems safer right now. Traveling in long distances by yourself if you get sick or something.
What kind of long distances? You mean like
Well, I mean,
out
like-
of the city or
like
or
to Philly.
other parts of the or other
No.
boroughs?
Like if I was gonna go to Philly to look for work there, I'd try and get a few other people to go with me. So I'd let everybody know.
Okay.
Hey, I'm headed to Philly. Does anybody want to go with me? Even if I don't know them well, I'd rather have somebody I don't know with me. That if I get if I break my leg, they'll at least go for help maybe.
All right.
So
Okay. What's the hierarchy like? I mean, is there somebody who's
There's
like
not
in
like a-
charge? Is there somebody who's sort of the looked at
there
as
are-
the leader?
there are a few people that if things get out of hand, that we have some enforcers that will take a look into that just to make sure everything's good. And
Enforcers.
yeah, but
Okay.
like we don't have much, but theft isn't looked on well. If you're drunk, you're drunk. But like if you're drunk, like causing a problem, like that, well, the people that are there are people that will take care of that
Okay.
and remove those kinds of elements. But generally, it's just everybody for themselves. Like,
Okay. But there isn't anybody who's really like the spiritual leader.
No,
or the,
no.
Or the
No, a couple of the churches send a priest or a minister down a couple times a
Okay.
week, but we haven't gotten too deep into.
nobody who's like the old wise man that they go to for advice, anything like that.
No, the whole people wouldn't. No, with the winter we had, not a lot of the older people would have done well out there.
All right.
So, yeah, well, I'll be happy to walk you around, introduce you.
Okay. So, did you know Al Fritz?
I met him a couple of times. He was a good guy, I guess. I mean,
What did you know about him?
he was usually pretty quick to jump on work. But, that's good. But he's good for, a good story or two over a drink. And occasionally we'd throw some dice, or at least they would. Not a bad guy. Just didn't cause any problems. Kind of stayed to himself. He seemed pretty honest and a hard worker.
When's the last time you saw him?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe last week. Around. I don't know. It's been a bit.
Okay.
So I didn't hear that he left. I didn't realize that he was missing or anything. But
Do you know where he was staying in the
yeah, I can walk you by
in
there.
the village? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
No.
No, I think you
All right.
covered it.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's go have a look.
Um.
Sorry, it's the 30s. I probably
No,
shouldn't
no.
say cool. I should say that's hip.
Lou, you caught a couple of things that he just said as those people. Clearly, the African Americans are the ones throwing the dice, and he's not one of them.
Right.
And he's pretty all right for one of those guys. Like there's an opinion there. He has a thought about
He's
that.
one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has some thoughts on that, but he's not like he doesn't hate you. He just thinks you're different. Like which is still hate.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you guys finish up breakfast. He orders a couple of extra rolls and stuffs them in his pockets. Rolls are not exactly expensive, so he didn't hesitate to do it, and then kind of heads out, expecting one of you to pick up the check, which I should assume you do, since you're going to pad it your expense account in the end, right?
No, I slide it over to her.
I go ahead and take care of
Yeah.
it.
So you guys head.
That's how you tip?
She's a modern girl. Modern times.
Yes.
So you guys head a couple blocks over and down into the park. It's probably a 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk to the outskirts of the Hooverville. And I don't know if you guys have looked at a lot of pictures of them, but it's like, oh, look, I found some wood and a tarp. It's a lot of some tents, some like canvas tents.
Not unlike a modern day homeless camp.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's just there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's not huge, but none of your characters are probably Johnny, your character's probably been here a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it's unsettling. Like it's essentially mud that they're living in because they've walked around and killed all the grass, and then it probably rained, and then
Yeah.
So the streets or the areas around the houses are not nice, but they seem well kept. Like the people that in them have some sort of pride about where they live.
Right.
And you kind of go in, you see a couple of like smokes from fires, but no active like burning fires.
What time of day is it right now?
Probably 10-ish in the
10-ish?
morning. Did we give this brother-in-law a name? We did.
We did?
Yeah, White.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Jamie White.
You think I'd be able to remember that?
Right, because you gave her like the most basic name in America, and I was like, oh.
Hey, it could have been John Johnson.
Oh.
We've already got a Johnson. We can't have more Johnsons.
Right, I had to. I was sitting
Well,
here thinking.
we could,
There's
but,
what was-
you
okay,
know.
yeah. Yeah.
So you guys walk through the Hooverville. He kind of Jamie takes you to like almost directly to Lou's, or not Lou's, Fritz's shack.
Which you hadn't seen before.
You have.
I have.
Yeah. You've been there a couple times. He this is where
So at this point, the brother-in-law is pretty much there to protect us, because
kind of.
give us some legitimacy, because he's been there before.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, this is his, and it's not in the center, but it's not on the edge either. So, this is his, and kind of his fire pit, and there's like a broken bench there that somebody had clearly thrown out, and they absconded with, and it's like pieces of billboard that have been used to build the shack, and like it's clearly it looks like it would be warm enough right now, but during the winter it'd get kind of nasty out here.
Right.
Especially, New York does not exactly have light snowfalls. It can come down pretty heavy. So, but yeah, then he takes you there and he says, tell me who you want to talk to. Like, I'm not sure if any of his neighbors are home, but if they aren't at work by now, they're not probably going to get any today.
Okay, so let's have a look around. See what we can find.
Okay. All of you give me a spot hidden.
I found something. Sorry.
Give you a what?
Spot hidden.
Sorry, where do I find that number?
That's going to be
It's
alphabetical
gonna be-
in the skills. It's good,
yeah.
probably in the far
your
right
far right.
column. Yeah.
Underneath sneak.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. 87.
So no.
No.
It was a 60, ladies and gentlemen.
And you rolled a
And I rolled a
23.
yeah.
Okay. So Lou, you noticed that the shack doesn't have a lock per se, like obviously, but
Right.
like the latch that would hold the door shut, is not latched, which is not the way it was the last time you were here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible that people have realized he's gone and have gone through his stuff, but it's only been a couple of days, so
Yeah.
you never know. Did you want to investigate that further?
I do.
Would you like to know more?
I want to investigate. I want to know what happened to my friend.
Okay. So you open the door. It looks like the stuff that he had in here, and he had like a small collection of stupid stuff, like some playing cards and knickknacks. Nothing huge. Stuff that you could all
Right.
toss into a box real quick or a bag and go.
Yeah.
But like it has been kind of tossed. The cards are gone. Any dice that he would have had, anything that would have been of value and not sentimental is gone. So like he probably had bedding, it's gone. Just the place has been kind of taken.
Based upon what I see, would I get the sense as someone that's in a rush to leave or someone ransacking, looking for something?
It was more of like they were grabbing the stuff that was worthwhile.
Okay.
Like the stuff that, like,
His stuff's already been picked over.
right,
Okay.
right, and,
Yeah.
and like he has some like carvings of little pieces of wood. They're not even really messed with because they're not worth anything.
Yeah.
So, but like you know where the cards were because he always put them back the same place. They're gone, and
Okay.
like his bedding and his blankets and pillow, they're gone.
Right.
So, it's kind of not a lot left.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you guys kind of walk around, check a couple of the shacks, I assume.
Yeah.
You eventually find what looks like an older white guy, but you come to like, hey, and he speaks back, and he is much younger than he seems. It just happens to be that his beard is all kind of white and his hair is white, but he sounds young instead of that gravelly older voices you get as you go. He has that younger kind of squeak to him. I guess that's the way to put it. Hey guys, how's everything going today?
Going great. Just looking for a friend of ours who's gone missing.
No, who's that?
Al Fritz.
Oh yeah, Al. Al's a good guy.
You know him?
Oh yeah, we played cards a couple times.
Yeah.
I
Any
haven't
idea where he went?
I haven't seen him since last week.
It seems to be everybody's story. Any idea where he might have gone?
Last Friday there was a guy down here grabbing a bunch of people for work, really early in the morning, like 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My clock's been my watch has been broken for a while, but it was right before the sun came up. So, he grabbed Al and 3 or 4 other guys, and said that they were going to go work, and I was only upset because I didn't get to go. But they went off and worked that day, and I don't remember seeing him after that.
What about the rest of the people that went off to work that day?
Paul's back. Yeah, I think they're all back.
Where's Paul?
He would be the shack next door. He'd be the shack next door. If he's not there, he may have a job. I didn't see him this morning. I didn't get up this morning quick enough. I had a good job yesterday, so I'm good for a couple of days if I have to wait.
All right. Well, let's go knock on Paul's door. Hey, do you know who it was that was gathering up people to go work?
I don't remember his name. Paul might remember. I don't remember his name though. Just he said something about one of the buildings down Midtown. So,
Wall Street?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go see if we can find Paul.
So you go to the next shack. You knock.
Dun dun.
Yeah.
We were just talking about all the law and order
You're
stuff,
right.
So yeah, it feels like a scene change.
Right.
So you go to the next shack and you knock on it. It opens up in a kind of a grizzled man opens. What?
You a friend of Al Fritz's?
I know him.
Word has it you were one of the last people to see him.
Yeah, I guess I haven't seen him since the job on Friday.
Did he come back with you?
No.
When's the last time you saw him then?
Last Friday? I haven't seen him since we went to the job.
Were you guys doing different jobs?
Yeah, I mean the building had a lot of stuff going on, so I got stuck with some people working on putting up walls, and I don't know where he went. But I saw him at lunch. Yeah, I saw him when we broke for lunch, and that was it. I don't remember seeing him after that. But I worked a little late that day. They offered by the hour, so I wasn't going to argue to work a couple more hours and get a couple more dollars. So I didn't see him after that, though. After lunch, though.
What was the building?
That new bank building is going up.
40 Wall Street?
Yeah.
All right. Who's the guy who came to recruit you all to work for the day?
Mr. Brookingham.
Mr. Brookingham?
Brookingham.
Has he been back up here to hire anybody else?
Yeah, he was here on Monday. I don't know if he didn't like my work or if he just didn't see me, but no, he didn't grab me then.
Do you know who went with him on Monday?
There were a couple of the guys from down that way.
Can you show us?
Yeah. Hold on. And he shuts his little shack door.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes out just a couple minutes later, kind of adjusting his shirt. Yeah, come on. And
Okay.
he goes down kind of to the other end-ish of the Hooverville, and he pounds on a door, and a guy comes out. Yeah. He says, these guys want to know if you guys all got back from working for Brookingham on Monday. And the other guys, yeah, we're all back. It was good work. Paid okay. So,
Do you guys know Al Fritz?
oh yeah, where is Al? We haven't seen him in a couple days.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out.
All three of you are like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Al was that important?
Yes.
Okay. Was Al that important?
Yes.
He
He was very much important. I need for you to, you know what? Stab it.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen Al since Thursday last week.
So you know this guy Brookingham?
I've worked for him a couple times.
Where's his office?
I don't know that I've ever seen his office. Usually takes us to the site foreman and then kind of goes his own way.
What's the site foreman's name? All right,
The site foreman's name is Roberts.
Roberts.
You're got so many names.
I know.
I should have like an English last name dictionary. Just hit the button and it populates something else for me.
Yeah.
You guys haven't figured out, but names are my giant weakness.
Sir
role-playing.
Fremington.
Sir, I
Murph.
played in a LARP that you ran, okay? And sometimes I'd be like, didn't that vampire have that name? Like, what? Didn't that... How does every clan have a vampire with that exact same name?
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Alright, we'll make it work. We'll go with it.
They're all named Vlad.
Right, I'm like, we'll make it work.
All right. So, party. Do we feel like we've exhausted our questions here? Do we think there's other stuff to ask? I mean, everybody's sort of given us the
same, yeah, because
the same. Brookingham hires them.
Well, we do know that at least this time around, I feel like we got a little bit further because we do know that now there's another player on the field, Brookingham, that's like snatching these guys up. Everyone's come back except for Fitz, and his stuff is disheveled. So
Right.
Yeah.
where we like this is definitely kind of like we can let the disheveled go as like people have ransacked the shit because he's been gone for a while. But it's the fact that like he out of all the people like he didn't come back.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Hey, so we've still got this party of 3 residents here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I understand that a lot of people have been going missing lately. You guys know anybody else who hasn't turned up?
Oh yeah, Brian and Bill and Bobby and all kinds of not there specifically.
Game
all
Master,
B-names.
do I really need to give a shit about their names?
They matched the reports and
reports
then
you got.
and then some.
Okay. Do I need
Oh,
to? Do I
damn.
need? Oh,
Okay.
so we've got some people who have
Are
gone
new.
missing that nobody bothered to report.
Yes.
Okay.
Or that the reports hadn't been processed far enough.
Okay.
You also noted that they also tell you about people that are not just from this Hooverville, from the other 2 Hoovervilles, or from other homeless areas that are also missing. On a quick count, you're looking at 35, 40 people that they're aware of
Okay. Over the course of a few weeks.
over a course of like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We're looking at around 1 per day.
No. I mean, if it's 40 people,
Per
yeah.
Hooverville.
Yeah, and then you throw in the other homeless shelter or the homeless areas, then yeah, easily 1 per day from each one. So yeah, there's a significant number of people missing.
Okay. So I think
that's creepy as
yeah, that is creepy.
Language.
Sorry.
Okay, so what we're finding out here is that we've got a lot more people missing than we thought we did.
Yeah.
Right.
And-
And roll idea for me.
roll idea.
Yeah, you're the cop.
An idea. Now I
wanna see
have a
what my
song. I got a theory
score
from Buffy popped in
is.
my head.
Just the cop can roll the idea.
I want to see if I can get it.
What I'm looking for it. Where?
Oh, it's going to be at the very top, up by luck.
It's your character is she's
up by luck.
Very, very top right.
Yeah.
Oh, up at the top.
At the
Oh,
top.
Okay, idea. I got 70.
That's not bad.
And I just rolled a 78.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people. That's like 40 people. That's a lot of people.
Woo. Wow.
I got
I'm
38
really
out of
glad I rolled those
65.
dice, so I know that's a lot of
Right.
people.
You
Yes,
know,
my toes are blue.
I'll give you that one.
Wow.
So,
I noticed that earlier. I was like, that's pretty
so Shirley,
Thank you.
you have been kind of studying the detective arts under the detective. You
No,
have
I'm a really good dang researcher.
no. I mean, literally in his backstory, it says he's taking you under his wing and teaching you the detective arts, whether you realize it or not.
Uh oh, she's gonna pull a pearl pistol
Yeah.
out of her purse and
So,
like.
you realize
You
that if,
detective do yes, or you
if
detective
these
do
are the
no.
people that they know of, it's also very likely that there could be as many as twice as many still unknown of that are missing, because we're talking about this is all midtown to like the very, very northern edge of Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
There are communities within New York that are very insular that wouldn't talk about this kind of stuff, and that also could mean that there are people that are living in apartments that are missing too. So, like, there could be as many as 80 or 100 people missing in these 2 weeks in this 2 week span. It's just they're not hitting the right things to show off, to flip off all the
I would
bells
bring
and
that
whistles.
to your attention.
Right.
Okay.
To everyone's attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This might not just be limited to the Hoovervilles.
right.
So
And this might not. And we're talking Manhattan. I mean, there are 4 other boroughs
Right.
right.
that could also be affected.
I would get the idea that maybe we backtrack attack when we leave here.
Yeah.
That maybe one of the things we do is backtrack to the Lennox building and see if there's tenants that just have like he went to go collect rent and just like opened the door and like they weren't there.
Maybe a suggestion would, instead of that, go to Michael's. He owns a couple of buildings.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a wider information.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
I mean,
Good idea, game.
what I meant to say is you should roll your idea to help you get that. But, oh, look, you got it so.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But, no, I mean, you were on the right track. So,
Yeah.
like, instead of a narrow, maybe broadening it out that
Yeah.
way.
Although one question, I mean, are we thinking about this in terms of the bigger problem, or are we still looking for your friend?
I mean, we're still looking for my friend, but there's definitely a bigger.
Now, yeah, we've run into a bigger
Yeah, we've run
problem.
into
Yeah.
a bigger problem that, like, if we're going to find him, now it's like we've got to figure out what happened to these people to at least figure out what's happened to him.
See, I think we should find out if Brookingham's involved in this at all. But at the same time, if everybody else is coming back and it's just this one guy,
Right.
maybe no. On second thought, never mind. I take it back. I didn't give voice to that thought. You're right. I'm gonna follow you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. No. I like that. Let's go back up to Harlem.
He's ready to go to
So,
Harlem.
so you go back up to Harlem. Well, he missed out on the fun dice crap.
He's been infected by the Harlem Shake. He's ready. He's ready.
I want.
So you guys head back up there. You set an appointment with Michael's secretary because he's
Okay.
got one. You know, he's fancy like
Right.
that. You meet with him.
I believe the term is bougie.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he bougie. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Get my jive talk on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short and form of bourgeois. But all right.
Yeah. You set an appointment with his secretary. You arrive, I'd say 11:30ish.
Okay.
No, I guess not. It'd probably be after lunch because by the time you guys get up there, after you do all the talking, it'd be a little after lunch.
So we done ate yet again.
Yeah, you done ate.
We're
it
the
again.
most eatingest people in the world of Cthulhu. I feel like the
We
other
gotta eat.
parties aren't eating as much as this party. Like we stopped for breakfast.
You have no
lunch.
idea when
dinner.
they
Okay.
when they went on this
How
mass.
do you
Get
order your
snacks.
steak? Roll for if the chef gets it correct.
Right.
So
On this week's Dine and Dash
Right.
episode of
actually, Johnny, could I get you to roll credit rating? So credit rating is an interesting skill to where you wouldn't necessarily know what that is.
Wow.
It's on your sheet.
Wow.
why are you asking the black man to run his credit?
I know.
I noticed you didn't ask
he's
these
going
white
to take a
people
couple
if they run
points
their-
on
Johnny,
it.
it's a soft check. Don't worry about it. It's not going to affect your credit at all.
Oh, okay.
No, that's what they always say. That's
Yeah.
what they always tell you. Don't you trust him?
It's alphabetical. It's going to be on the bottom leftish of the skills
I
section.
see, I'm
Okay,
s-
I'm trying to help. I'm
Okay,
being helpful.
really low key out there in America. I'm really angry that there is a credit rate with a 15% in parentheses, might I add. But mine's is at 59, so I don't know.
So credit
Your
rating.
credit rating's better than mine. All right.
So credit rating in Call of Cthulhu is not your credit. It is how well people know you. So how well your name floats. It usually applies to like, I'm a debutante and I'm going to go to England and I don't have any British pounds, so I need to do, like, you go to the bank and you be like, hi, I'm a Rockefeller. I'm going to need some money. Oh, you're a Rockefeller. Okay. Well, if you pass your credit rating, you're clearly a Rockefeller. If you don't, well, they're going to need you to prove that. Yeah. So it's more of like a, do people know you? And do
what
people
they're willing
know?
to do.
Does anybody else want to go back on this whole Matt being a debutante thing? Because I think we need to. I think we need to unpack that for a second. Did you have a coming out ball?
I'm always
in
a
a
debutante.
beautiful dress.
Always a debutante.
He is the prettiest princess.
I'm
you
also
were
always
suitable
a-
for marriage.
Also, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
I'm sorry.
All right, so let me roll this credit.
I can't read your dice. You chose the easiest to read dice. That is a 37.
And mine's at a 59.
All right. So, when you get there, I don't even. Aloysius Michaels, that's his name. It has been decided. Michaels welcomes you in with a hearty handshake. Come on in, Mr. Bell. Sit down. Sit down. Bring your assistants with you.
Excuse me?
I just kind of giggle.
I live for it.
I just kind of giggle and follow him in,
I live for it.
He kind of goes and sits
clutching
behind.
my notebook to my chest.
He goes behind
Clutching
and
your
sits
pearls.
behind his behind a desk. He is in he's in a high rise, as in it's like an office building that's probably 12, 15 stories. It's not huge, especially compared to Midtown.
Right.
But he's at the top. He's got a good view. He's clearly a man of some wealth here in Harlem. He'd be of moderate wealth other places, but he is important here. You could just get that general feeling from what's going on here. And he clearly knows you. He said, come on in and sit down. You got, man, I really miss seeing you doing your playing your baseball. Like you were one of my favorite players.
That's mighty kind of you.
So do you miss it? I still go see the Lincoln Giants. They're not as good as they were. I mean, you're not on the team anymore. But
I mean, there's days that I miss it, but then when I start feeling it, it reminds me of why I sat down.
Yeah. I don't have quite that many problems, but I didn't, I wasn't out there barnstorming like you, so I can understand that could wear a body out. So what can I do for you today?
Well, okay, time out. What are we gonna do again for y'all?
You thought it was a great idea.
Oh,
to
that's
ask
right.
about-
Because I was like, wait. I feel like that I was the one that suggested this low key.
This is your idea.
But I'm like,
Missing
I feel like we
tenants.
roll in and be like, oh, so do we have a plan? Well, you the one that came up with the plan. Did I really? Okay, but I did.
Did I do that?
Did I come up with that plan? Okay. So I was wondering if recently I've had a friend of mine that was staying over in the Lennox building, and all of a sudden, Super went to go collect the rent, and somehow he skipped out. Happen to notice it's been kind of a little bit of a trend lately. Has that happened to you?
I sit out one of my foremen on a regular basis to go grab people from where we know people need work. And there has been a sharp decline in the last couple of weeks of the people available. And I haven't looked at it too much because, honestly, it's just... I would assume the police are going to take a look into this, but it's Harlem, so maybe not. Maybe I'm just making the wrong decision. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but there's definitely been a decline. I don't know if maybe people are just like the rent is too much. Like when you don't have work, you don't have work. There's only so much you can do. And I try and there's only so much I can do to work with people. I have to pay on these buildings, so I have to have the money coming in to have it go out. But I've noticed that there's a change, or at least I secondhand noticed through my foreman. I just don't know what's going on.
You said that when you go out to gather people for work.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about like it used to be easy for you to get 30, 40 guys?
Well,
and now
I
you
can still
struggle?
I can still get 30, 40 guys, but I don't have 80 or 90 guys waiting. Now I have like 60 guys waiting. So I mean, we're looking from what my foremen say, and I can direct you to them if you want more details. But from my foremen say, like a quarter of the people that they're used to seeing just aren't there anymore.
Yeah, if I could speak with your foreman, that'd be mighty kind of you.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to make that happen for you, Mr. Bell.
Yeah, let's talk to a foreman, yeah.
All right, so he gets on the phone, makes a call. 20 minutes later, you've been served coffee, not donuts, like something pastry-like, just kind of a nice little
Why
snack.
not donuts?
Because donuts are kind of a lower class thing, whereas like a pastry would be a nicer upper class thing.
Okay, so like
Yeah.
a Danish.
A Danish,
like
yeah. Yeah. A Harlem Danish.
A croissant.
Not sure what that looks like.
Yeah. Like a stuffed croissant.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
a Madeleine.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a cookie.
You don't know what a metal? Okay.
Really?
Bye.
Just breathe. Just breathe.
I'm going to let it go.
So yeah, it's probably 25 minutes later. Like a strapping black man comes in. Mr. Michaels said that you wanted to speak with me.
Yeah, so I heard that not as many fellas are coming out for work these days when you go looking.
Yeah. Say the last 2 weeks we've seen a bit of a drop off. It was really bad this week. Like the drop has been it's been obvious, but like, I mean, I'll walk into I'll go down to where I know people are squatting in, one of the buildings, and I'll ask around, and like, there's like, normally like 20 people there. There's only like 15, and I don't know. Like we're missing out on like, I'd say 20-25% of the number that we would normally see out. And I know that, I mean, other people are hiring, so there's always that fluctuation, but they don't hire that many people. So I don't know what's going on.
By chance, do you ever recall of encountering a man by the name of Al Fritz?
Yeah, I know Al. He's a good worker. You look, when you're in my position, you're good workers. You're really bad workers. You shoot for the good ones, and you don't ever bring the really bad ones back.
When's the last time you saw Al?
Oh, it's been a week and a half ago.
A week and a half ago.
Yeah. Maybe last Monday? That sounds right. We don't exactly keep paperwork on that. I'll be honest.
Could you give us a minute?
Oh, yeah. He walks out, and Michaels kind of stands up and leaves you guys in his office.
Didn't they say that he came down Friday and picked him up?
No.
No, that's not what. Okay, hold on. So as players, let's get some clarification first before we try to get some in-game clarification. So our timeline again was, I went to go see him, call on him late in the week.
Yes.
For dinner.
Yeah.
I checked back a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't to be found.
Right.
So then I popped up on the spot and begged the Plucky reporter to give me a hand early in the week. When we inquire about when was the last time that anyone has seen him, it has usually fluctuated between being like Wednesday and like that Friday-ish range of the same
And this would have been the
time
Monday
period
prior to that.
Right. So then, so we're getting, because I wanted to make sure. I was like, well, is he saying that like the last time he saw him was like a week prior to the week that I saw him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah. He saw him.
Got it.
He hasn't seen him as recently as you had.
Got it. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
where I was at. So
No,
yeah,
that's fine.
So all right.
So then who picked him up on Friday? Who picked Fritz up on Friday to work?
Brookingham.
Who's this kid?
Okay, right. Let me. You know
He
what?
the Brookingham works for the Manhattan Bank
Right.
building.
So you know what? Let's get Michael back into
Oh,
the
okay.
room.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be like, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, not a problem.
Although, I do have one question for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, you're pulling
Wait
a
a minute.
Columbo now.
Although I do, right? Because I stay up late and watch Murder, She Wrote in Columbo because I don't have a life.
I think your phone says otherwise.
Well,
Anyway, go ahead. You were saying?
boys play games. I'm just saying.
Oh, Mr. Michaels, I just have one more
Right.
question for
Exactly.
you, sir.
One more question for you. Do you happen to know someone by the name of Brookingham? Works on the Manhattan building they're building?
Yeah, he's there. He's one of their recruiters.
Would you happen to know where I could find him?
Yeah, he gives you the office address down in Midtown
Okay.
for whatever construction company is building that building. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna.
No, you don't. All right. So then as we bounce out and we walk to the elevator and tell the elevator guy to the first floor, I'm be like, I'm going to need y'all to hail a cab. It's time to go check out the Wall Street.
Okay.
When you say Midtown, do you mean the financial district?
No,
Wall Street?
the building that houses the office for the
Oh.
construction companies in Midtown.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in Midtown. How fancy.
I know.
I really need to go back to Manhattan when I can remember what the heck we're doing.
Yes.
I haven't been there since I was like 12.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that my parents were like, "Oh, look at that!" I had no like. We went to Rockefeller Center. I'm like, "Oh, it's an ice skating rink. That's cool."
Yeah.
You're like, that's neat.
Yeah, right.
And now I'm like, ooh, that's the opening shot from 30 Rock.
Right. Now that I've seen 30 Rock, I want to go to the GE building,
Yes.
and the Comcast is now the Comcast building, and see them shoot like TV shows. That sounds awesome.
Okay, so we're jumping in a cab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to go jump in a cab and we're going to go find Brookingham.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pull up in front of a construction office building, or a office building that has a construction office in it. You go up to the something floor, not a prestigious floor, just one of the floors.
They're not all 100-story buildings.
Right. And as you walk in, the receptionist says, Mr. Bell, you did not introduce these two people to Mr. Michaels, did you? You never gave them names.
I did
No.
not.
Okay.
No.
Mr. Bell, I was told to expect you and your assistants.
Oh, I'm sorry. How rude of me. Actually, this is Lorraine Russell. You
Oh.
may remember her from her writings.
Oh, the reporter.
Yes.
Oh. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
and this is our friend, Detective Tony
Williams.
Oh.
Ex-detective.
Oh, okay.
Retired.
Okay.
Retired.
Well, Mr. Brookingham is expecting you. Mr. Michaels called ahead and said you'd be on your way and set an appointment.
Yes.
So she kind of ushers you into a conference room. You sit in the conference room.
Right.
You're offered water or coffee or tea, whatever you want. They bring it to you. And as like the receptionist is leaving to go get your beverages, a like stone-jawed, suited white man comes in and takes us and shakes your hand. I'm
Hey,
Mr.
Daddy.
Brookingham. Like sits down. He looks like a modern football player, like that wide, like hard body.
Yeah.
And he kind of sits down and relaxes into the chair
Okay.
across from you and says, "What can I do for you folks?"
You know what? Actually, I'm going to let little Lorraine take the lead this time because use them feminine wiles on that white man. Yes, go ahead and cross them legs, girl, so he can like.
So, Miss Russell.
Yes. We were wondering about when you go recruiting.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
How does your
Is this for a story?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. How do you go about choosing?
I try and stick with it. So I rely on my foreman on site. Is really the big deal. So when I bring in it, officially it's not really legal. We have to do paperwork and whatever. But when we go to like a Hoovertown or when we go to a place where we know a lot of the men are going to be congregating, if I know people that have worked for us before and the foremen have given me good reports on them, I rely on those reports to pull those same men again. So if one of the guys I know is not going to do as well as another guy, I'll try and grab the first one, the other one first. Sometimes, though, I won't know any of the guys, or there will be too many, and it is just literally the ones that look the strongest. You got to go with, if it's going to be heavy lifting, I'm not going to pick the 3 guys that are skinny, even if they're better workers, because I need guys that are going to be able to carry a bunch of heavy crap.
Right. And in line with that, why don't you do very many callbacks?
We don't always have work the same. We don't always have the same work the same day, and not every. From day to day, the jobs change. So I may have a guy that I may have a position that I need guys to carry stuff, but I may need tomorrow guys that put up walls. Those are 2 very different paying jobs.
Right.
And I pay them accordingly. I can't hire a guy on, and if I don't get there, if I get there after another recruiter, I can't pull the same guy twice always.
Oh.
So
right.
and to be honest, not everybody wants to work every day. So some of the men understand that they need $20 for the week, and so they'll work a couple of days, get their $20, and they'll stop so that somebody else can work.
Oh, okay.
So
So would you say that most of the people in the Hoover towns and the
other
less fortunate areas actually look out for each other in that regard?
Lightly, I would say yes. It's not. They're not jumping. They're not always jumping at the chance to put somebody else forward if they don't have to, but they also aren't being greedy about it.
Okay. So we're very, very interested in the new architecture and new buildings that are going up around the area.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that your company is working with the
Manhattan Bank.
The Manhattan Bank. Tell me a little bit about that building.
Oh, it's a fantastic building. He goes over all kinds of specs that I'm not going to try and.
Right.
It's going to be the tallest building in New York, in the world. In the world.
In the world.
In the world.
And who's backing that?
The Manhattan Bank.
Who's the builder?
The Manhattan Bank.
The construction company.
Oh, the company you're at currently. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
ABC Construction.
Oh.
ABC, they're good. They're much better than DEF.
Yeah.
Why don't folks go with Acme anymore? I don't get it.
Because Acme's are real companies. There's actually a history with the name Acme.
Oh yeah.
Because it came so early in the phone book that people would put their Acme on their name so that they would come before other companies that did the same thing. So it's like, I'm Acme Plumbing instead of Bob's Plumbing. I come first in the plumbing section, so I'll get called first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, just to move along, I don't want to take up very much of your time. Have you seen a decline? We've heard from other recruiters that there's been a decline.
Yeah.
In recruiting.
I have personally seen it. There's a lot of. I don't know if the men are just not working as much or needing as much work, but we're still getting plenty of people to crew the jobs we need, but there's not as much demand for the work.
Right. So do you have any favored workers?
We have some guys that if we can get them, they're definitely on top of the list, but honestly, sometimes it's just really tough to prioritize those guys when there's a lot. I don't always see them.
Right.
So, yeah.
And who's the foreman at the Manhattan Bank building?
So the way it works is I'll go and recruit, and I drop them off to the foreman. The head foreman there.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Roberts.
Roberts?
Mm-hmm.
Would there be a way that we would be able to get an appointment with him so we could possibly tour the site?
I'll call the site and let him know you're coming down.
That sounds like a great idea.
If you guys want to do that today, then that's perfectly. I'm sure that's perfectly
doable. How do you
doable.
feel about that?
It'd be closer to the end of the day, so you guys aren't going to see that recruitment part of it, but you will be seeing a lot of the guys working. We may have sent some of them home already,
right?
But you'll still see quite a few of the guys working.
So just a few rumors have been going around about people becoming missing after jobs.
Again, I have heard those same rumors. I don't know. I can't disprove them.
But it's not a concern for you.
I don't know. there are so many buildings being built right now that I can't keep track of. I have trouble keeping track of the couple of building sites we do, let alone the dozens of others that are going up other places. I mean, there's places as far north as Harlem that are going up, and as far south as all the way down in the Bowery, and it's a lot. That's a lot of building going on.
I see.
So it's tough to keep track of much, and sometimes there's just rumors because there's rumors.
Well, thank you very, very much for your time, and we would love to meet with Roberts.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I will have my assistant take care of that. He lets you finish whatever coffee or tea or whatever you have if you got anything, and then has the receptionist come in and take some notes on what he needs done. And he's pleasant and doesn't. All three of you need to roll psychology. Should roll psychology. You don't need to. That implies a whole different thing.
Right. All right, let's look at my psychology.
You
30
say
under 70.
You say 83, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a fail. I don't think I put anything above 75 when I built these characters.
All right, and so my psychology is a 5, bro.
Oh yeah, you may not be great.
Where is psychology?
It's a P.
Oh, there it is. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my psychology is a 5. No, I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
gonna hit that.
so Shirley, you realize that he does not seem to have anything to hide. This is his job. He likes his job. He's married. He's got a ring. So he's not even really interested in you because you're not really. And maybe if you flirted a little bit, that might change things. But yeah, he seems just generally amicable to helping you out. Especially if it's a story that's going to show his company in a good light.
Right.
Employing the homeless and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah. He after everything's finished up, he says, it's probably a 20-minute walk from here if you guys wanted to get headed that way, but he's expecting you anytime, so just head that way when you need to, or when you're ready to.
Okay.
Do we have a bottomless bag of money here that I can make us jump in a cab?
It's expensive, man. Expensive.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's what I'm
$3
saying.
cab ride.
Newspaper will pay for it, right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
okay.
go.
Let's take a cab. Let's get over there in 5 minutes.
Okay. So you guys get over to the construction
That expense
site.
report from hell. Like, if Cthulhu doesn't kill us, someone's editor will. Best be a story.
The accountant.
Yeah. So you guys get to the construction site. It is almost a built building. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all but done.
It's not a building, it's a build.
Yeah, you'd have to expect that just from your quick look at it, you've got maybe a week left on this before it's good.
Okay.
So the foreman kind of meets you. The foreman's on the first floor waiting kind of around for you. When you walk in, the carpet's laid, the desks are built, everything is ready and good to go in the lobby. Things need to be wiped down, but from dust and such, but otherwise it's good to go here. And he comes out. He is in your typical working overalls kind of deal. It says, and he's wearing a hard hat. Yeah, they had those in the 20s.
Yes, they did.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Barely, but they did.
Safety Last says they did,
Yeah.
and so I'm gonna assume Safety Last knew what it was talking about.
Sure.
And he kind of hey, Mr. Brookingham.
Brookingham.
I didn't write that one down. Mr. Brookingham said you guys were coming by. How can I help you? You would just want a tour of the site, or?
Well, yes, I am doing a story
Okay.
for the Herald Tribune. We're doing a story on the buildings around the city that are employing those of lesser means.
Okay. Yeah. Let me show you around. We're gonna have to go up a couple of flights. I will warn you, the construction elevator's a little. It's not your typical elevator, so it may be a little jerky. Don't worry about it. It's the way it's supposed to work.
When do you see the building being finished?
I'd say about this time next week. The other elevators are in, but because we carry so much in and out, we don't want to mess those up with all of our construction equipment.
You want to keep them looking nice.
Right. One less thing for us to clean before we open doors.
Fair enough.
So let's go. He takes you back to what is obviously going to be the work the what do you call that? The other elevator.
Freight elevator.
The freight elevator. It's he's right. It's a little jerky. It's not a smooth ride at all. It's loud, but he takes you up pretty far. What you would have to assume is like the 55th floor around there. There's no numbers, so he's kind of feeling it out from the best you can tell. It stops. The doors open, and you see men like putting up walls and wiping things down. And he says, "Yeah, so this is basically a lot of what we do is finish floors as we go through. Don't want to do too much at once because then, I don't know. The accountants say that we can't do all of it at once. It would be easier to bring in, I think, 90 guys to do a bunch of work instead of 30 guys 3 days. Whatever. The accountants know better than I do, I guess. It also keeps us from having to have too many foremans, and they, so we have these guys doing this stuff. They get paid per hour per day, depending on what we negotiate with them ahead of time. We pay them when they're done, and then if they're good, hopefully we'll get them back, and if we don't get them back, hopefully they found work somewhere else.
So does Mr. Brookingham negotiate that before they come out?
Yeah, typically he'll come in with 10 or 12 guys and tell us exactly what he's negotiated with them, and it's usually like, I'm paying this, do you want that? And the whole group will be on the same pay rate. So like, we've got a job to do, it may take 12 hours, you're going to get 30 cents an hour,
right?
And all the I don't know if I'm quoting right numbers for the times, but what he's quoting sounds about right for the times, and it's maybe more than what you guys, just a smidge more than what you guys would make, but this is also hard labor as well. So like, especially as a reporter, he's probably paying a little more than that.
And how many men did Brookingham drop off this morning?
He kind of turns around. It's these guys. He brought all these guys in. There's probably 15 people in the room. 15.
Oh, okay.
Well,
and
there's
15
guys that are not in like foreman overalls like he is.
So when a group of men are dropped off, do they all stay in the same area and work in the same area,
Not
or do they
always.
work in different
Sometimes
parts
we
of
can
the
break
building?
into 2, 3, 4 teams. Depends on what we need done that day. So I don't know. Like last Friday, I had one big team down on one of the lower floors finishing up some walls, and I supposed to send a team of 3 guys up to the top to wipe down some things. One of the executive floors is already done, so we wanted to make sure that was all cleaned and ready to go. So we sent 3 guys up there.
Oh, okay. And did anyone fall ill or decide not to finish out the day? Does that usually happen?
No, that doesn't. I mean, occasionally, but usually these guys are, if you don't work it, you don't get it. Like if we're going to pay you $10 for the day, you're not going to get that if you don't work. So if you go home early, I'm not paying you at all. Is generally the concept, and it's not. I don't need guys in here for half a day because they think they only need half a day to get booze for the rest of the week. Like, I need somebody here all day, and if they only need half a day's pay for booze the rest of the week, they got another half a day's pay because that's how it works. I don't need people leaving early.
Right.
So typically, if we know it's going to be an 8-hour job, we'll pay them for a day. If we know it might go 12 hours, we'll negotiate like, hey, here's the hourly rate that we're going to pay.
Oh, okay. And did you have any favored workers that you've worked with in?
I mean, there's probably 10 that I would be happy to have on a regular crew if I knew that we could keep a regular crew.
Is there a reason why you guys don't do that?
Bosses say we really can't. And honestly, with the varied work every day, I'm not sure that it wouldn't be consistent, and I'm sure that makes it very difficult for the accountants. Some days we have people cleaning stuff, and that's a way lower paying job than, like, I don't know, putting up walls or that kind of stuff, welding.
Did you know Al Fritz?
Name sounds familiar. He describes Al. Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good worker. Serious and hard about it.
Workers?
Yeah.
So he has been reported missing by some of his friends, and what we're also trying to find out is, did he seem to be acting strangely the last time that he worked for you?
So I'm gonna have you roll psychology. You guys all can roll psychology. There's always a chance you roll under 5. Right? It's all random.
Can happen.
Oh, yeah. 54 under 70.
Okay.
Yeah, 46 over 5.
He gives you, like, you say Alfred's nothing. When you say, what was the question that you just asked?
When did he went missing, basically?
You mentioned that he went missing. And there is a twinge before his face goes back to kind of the calm, relaxed look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're going to do it tonight for the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep.
Yay.
Check out our website, nerdsdom.com, for all of our other podcasts. They are fantastic. Don't forget, we do have a GoFundMe out there. If you enjoy this podcast, normally I would point you towards Patreon. This time I'm going to say, hey, there's a GoFundMe out there where you could help us out by helping us get our equipment back. So we are back on track for all of the great things we're doing. We'd really appreciate the help if you have the time to do that. Otherwise, we will talk to you guys next week.
And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us on facebook.com/nerdsdomain, on Twitter @nerdsdomain, or over at our site, nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Josh Schott for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain. And check out our shirts at slashloot.com.